afternoon, secular fam. I hope that you're all hanging in there today. This week, once again, unspeakable violence happened in America. School shootings, a political assassination, bomb threats to HBCUs, and a whole bunch of stuff that probably didn't even make the headlines. We can all agree that violence isn't the answer, and the unfounded accusations coming from a lot of influencers and elected officials about violence coming from liberals, including our own president, is downright dangerous. Our organization fights against Christian nationalism every day, and TPUSA is in our own backyard. I know people who made it onto their Turning Point USA school board and professor watch lists, and they received death threats and threats of mostly sexual violence as a result. I have received a death threat using scripture of all things. In fact, in the coming weeks, we'll be talking with one such individual, and we've already received correspondence demanding we cancel the event. As Arizona's voice for the separation of religion and government, spending a lot of time lobbying against the dangerous policies and practices of TPUSA, we will absolutely carry on with that event, and we will not be bullied by fascists. I won't shy away from the word, and you shouldn't either. Don't allow people to whitewash this legacy. And if anyone who watches this is upset by our stance, perhaps Mr. Kirk's own words will be of consolation to you. It's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our God-given rights. With that, today we are speaking with the good folks at the Working Families Party. So get ready for some hope, folks. One of whom who works there is Parris Wallace. She is the senior organizer for Arizona State and local governance with the Working Families Party. Parris also chairs the board of the Southwest Recovery Alliance, a nonprofit dedicated to harm reduction and the dignity of people who use drugs. The Alliance works to expand access to life-saving resources, advocate for compassionate policies, and build community power through peer-led organizing. In addition, Parris co-founded the Black Phoenix Organizing Collective and Black Political Cultivation AZ, and previously served on the board of directors of Planned Parenthood Advocates of Arizona. And I'm pretty sure, Parris, that's how I met you the first time. I think it was like an interview. There may have
Yes,
been there may have been
we
a
were
gathering
doing an
before.
endorsement. I actually met you for the endorsement process when I was with Planned Parenthood.
Right on. Yeah, I knew we went way back. So it's good to see you. And I actually get to see Parris now kind of more regularly because, I've been looking for something to do over the last, 9 months and feeling the same kind of despair that a lot of people have been. So, I started getting plugged into the Working Families Party. And we actually had a cancellation today. We were supposed to be speaking with somebody else, but thankfully Parris jumped right in. So if you haven't heard about the Working Families Party, she is about to drop some knowledge. Go ahead.
I'm in the chat, and that the last question is really wild. Hi, everyone. So do you want me to, there are a couple of slides that I want to share, but I actually just want to thank you for the introduction. I really appreciate that. And it has been really great knowing you for so long and, just watching your electoral career and just everything. So I want to say thank you so much.
No problem.
Hi, everyone. It's weird because I can't see anybody. It's just me and you looking at each other, but I know that there's people out there. It's super.
Oh, and by the way, you know what? The chat can get a little spicy here, so don't you worry about monitor, because I know how you are too. So I will monitor the chat for you. And if there's any questions that pop up, I will take the questions as they come. So you don't have to worry about it, okay?
Oh man, I am so nosy. I am a nosy Nancy. Okay, so yeah, so I'm with the Working Families Party, as my introduction said. And at the Working Families Party, we believe in moments like this, right? In gatherings like this is super cool. And I think it's not just helpful, it's powerful. Especially with everything that's been happening this last week in particular, for the last 48 hours, actually, right? And so political power doesn't come from individuals acting alone, right? It comes from people like us. And that's what we believe at the party, right? The working class, the multiracial majority, we all come together and we are actively and have been building something bigger. And so today I'm actually going to share a little bit about what WFP is, why we exist, how we're building political power here in Arizona, and our North Star, which is very simple. It's building multiracial working class power. And everything we do, including me being here right now with you all, flows from that, right? So yeah, I know I'm not supposed to be in the chat, and you know I'm a facilitator by nature. I just wanna know where everybody is in this political moment right now. I just want to know who's in the room. Feel it out, right?
Feel free to type it in, folks.
Yeah, put it in there. I'm curious, that's all. And I'll keep moving. That way we're not just, so I am actually going to share my screen. Hold on, I can do this, you guys. I do this all the time and I fumble as I'm doing it all the time as well.
Don't worry about it. So we have Sun City, we got Mesa, we got Scottsdale, Queen Creek, we got Payson, we got Sahuarita. I don't know how to say it. Tucson, sorry. Sahuarita. I can't say it right. Everybody, Casa Grande. I mean, like, we're all over the place. Sun City, Green Valley, and feeling pensive. So where are we emotionally? I mean, I'm going to say personally, I am sick and tired of the uncertainty, and I like more overwhelmed than anything. You know, I went to the Peoria Unified School Board meeting last night, and I wasn't even able to speak until like, close to 11. By that point, I'm exhausted. And I almost tried to keep listening when I came home because they were still going. And I was like, no, I am going to watch America's Next Top Model from 2010 and just go back to, I know, just don't judge me, but it's just, I don't know. There's something, Tyra's.
I want to go back to better times, the early 2000s.
Tyra's dysfunction, though, is so much easier for me to handle than the world's dysfunction right now. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. All right. So I want to make sure that, can everybody see the screen? Is it good? Perfect. All right. So about the Working Families Party, right? We are the progressive political party for the multiracial working class. We fight for a nation that works for the many and not for the few, right? We recruit, train, support transformational candidates up and down the ballot, and we run them to win. Once they are in office, we don't just leave them there. We actually co-govern, right? So we bring you all, the community, with us into whatever office that person is holding, because that person has the same stake or has everything to lose, just like the rest of us do. We all are at the same stakes, right? And so we actually follow that person into office to make sure that they're advocating for working class people, to make sure that they're staying grounded and rooted within the community, and reminding them that they do make votes, not just for all of us, but their house as well. So if you're making a bad vote for your home, right? That's where the WFP shows up. And so, yeah, I'm gonna slide. This presentation is one that we do regularly. So some of this is relevant, some of this is not relevant for this moment. This is Maurice Mitchell. He is our National Executive Director of the party. Some of you might have seen him, heard him, are familiar with him. He is our fearless leader and a very, very brilliant mind. And it's important for us to name the things that we're fighting for ideologically, because in a perfect world, all of us everybody would be invested in every part of the fight, right? It might be a perfect world, or it also could be a cult, right? If we're all just like, 100%, total unity is not very realistic goal for us as organizers. I'm sorry, there's a lot of wrong way drivers happening here right now, and I think it's very dangerous.
Do whatever you need to make sure you're safe, please.
I mean, I just need to move off of this corner. They're acting as if this is the right road. So the realistic goal that we know at WFP is solidarity, right? Everything we do through building coalitions. And Marie says, you know, in order to build the world we need, we have to dismantle racism and sexism, right? We need to build an economy that puts people and planet first. And we need a political revolution to do this. And we've been doing it since for over 25 years, 26 years now, we've been doing this. And it's working. And so our North Star, and this is what brings us back to, you know, we are very clear on what values we lead with. And I want to make sure that everybody that's here listening and hearing me right now also knows what values we lead with. You know, the image of the North Star is very central to our organization because it's important that we come back to it to ground ourselves to our values and our political orientation. Our North Star says that we are to build a multiracial, feminist, working people's party of the American left that wins governing power at every level of governance, right? To enact a structural reform agenda to save the planet and the people on it, period. That's it. Seems like the next right thing. And so I'm going to stop really quick. And I don't know how interactive this arena actually is, but I want to at least gauge how people are hearing this, receiving this.
Yeah, go ahead. And we don't do all that much. We do a lot of on our own while people present, but we can adjust. So I'm ready for this. Like,
no,
so
I'm an organizer. I want to know what everybody out there is thinking. I want to hear it.
So yeah, feel free to share your thoughts, because I don't know about y'all, but for me, this is a pretty nice looking North Star. Farrell says, love this. I'm a lifelong feminist. Bonnie says, thank you, Parris.
All right, cool. I just wanted to, and if this doesn't feel good or it feels kind of crunchy, please also let me know, because that is also a part of this, right? We can't actually move forward and build coalition and build in spaces if we don't have that uncomfortable conversation, right? Principled struggle is also a part of this work. Yeah. So with the party, and folks that aren't familiar with the Working Families Party, we are, and I will get into this, a third political party. We are. And on the East Coast, we have ballot lines. On the in the Pacific Northwest, we have ballot lines. But in Arizona, we don't participate in the form of voting that will allow the party to have its own line, right? And so I'm going to spend a little bit of time sharing our analysis of building political power for working class people, and how we are that political vehicle for everyday folks, right? So first, I'm going to clear up what we mean by political party, right? A party is a group of people, group of individuals that organize together to engage in elections to advance a platform. That's it, right? Our platform, our candidates, and how we organize all add up to the Working Families Party being an alternative to the Republican and Democratic parties, and to the two-party system as a whole. And the goal of this is to, you know, make things like universal health care, fair wage employment, paid sick leave, accessible childcare, all of those things that we know that we need to thrive. In order to win all of these things, we have to build our membership base. So I am super appreciative to be asked to come here to speak to you all. So just to be clear, as if we all don't know, Trump is president again. And we see what he has done over these last half dozen months. And, you know, we know that the danger is real. We know that it's happening. We also know that he hasn't rewritten the Constitution yet, right? He hasn't dismantled every check and balance that we have. And while we have that opportunity, we have to keep it that way, right? But we also have to be very clear about the fact that what he's doing is a real threat, and all of that is imminent, right? And, you know, when we look at true fascism and tyrant ways, textbook, this is all textbook, right? Surrounded himself with all of his loyalists. He's weaponizing federal agencies. all of the executive actions and basically laying the groundwork to stay in power um, through elections, not just, you don't have to go back inside, through control. And so we know that this isn't politics as usual, right? The authoritarian movement is trying to tighten its grip around us. So, yes. For the Working Families Party, because we are a political party that unites working class people to build the collective power we need, obviously, we need a base. We can't claim to do the work of uniting people without actually bringing people together. And so we work in coalitions. And this means that we do this in three ways. The first is through our membership, right? In state chapters. And in some states, we have, other teams of activists and organizers. And so that's the top one that you see there. That's the people. If you move to the state committee, the orange box, that's the party, right? And the state committees are made up of leaders from different advocacy groups and community organizations all across the state. And then that moves us to large scale affiliates, unions, donors, movement organizations, and we all operate on a national scale. So the Working Families Party is a national organization. We have 3 staffers here in Arizona. I'm one of them. And we use these three pillars to work in coalition to actually ensure that we are representing the demands of working class people. And so the structure makes sure that our strategy is shaped by the people who are doing the work and living those issues. Now, we're going to address the elephant in the room. Third party, where does that fit into a 2-party electoral system, right? People are like, are you sure it's not doing more harm than good? I'm going to start to answer these questions by sharing what we believe about elections, right? There's a lot of different tactics we use to defeat the right, and electoral intervention is without a shadow of a doubt one of them, right? And so public officials need to come from the public, right? They need to be a reflection of us and be personally invested in the interests we elect them to advance, right? We know that you can't win elections without talking to people, period. And we care about enacting material change for working class people, right? So the things that impact people's daily lives, like the price of eggs or the lack of healthcare, that's what we are talking about when we say politics is about outcomes, not about making statements. A lot of people perform politics. We don't perform politics, right? Now, the meat and potatoes of the things, how are we bringing a third party into this mess without inevitably strengthening our opposition, right? Easy. There's only so many voters in the US and Arizona, and a third party option works to dilute votes. We know that. We have a hack though, right? We run candidates as left progressive challengers in Democratic primaries, right? In rare cases.
And can I just, okay, so, and these people are typically registered as Democrats, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I think maybe that's the part where sometimes, even though you say primary, sometimes people are like, well, wait a second, they just get worried that it's going to be like a Nader situation or a
Oh, yes.
Perot situation, right? Like whatever. So that is, they run as Democrats, but they run to push the conversation further, right?
Yeah, so we run our candidates on the Democratic ticket as Democrats. So we need all of you to stay registered Democrats, right? Or if you're an independent, request the Democratic ticket, right? Because
and
that's
right here, I would like to say that we are a nonpartisan organization. So go ahead. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, you can be nonpartisan, but also understand that in order to participate in the, I will be as diplomatic about it as possible then. So in rare cases, we run our own candidates, very rare cases, right? Here in Arizona, we don't have that option through a process called fusion voting. And then we tend to run our candidates in ways that don't spoil. So what you see here in Arizona, what we do here, we'll run a Democratic candidate, right, in a primary. Then you see all the other Democratic candidates scramble to move a little further left to keep up with what we're saying, because we're saying, speaking the needs of the community. Corporate Democrats, you know, and like I said, we're gonna try and maintain as much. Okay, I'm like, because we are an actual political party, so
Yeah, I was just speaking on behalf of Secular AZ, so you can go
okay,
right ahead. Yeah.
okay, cool. But yeah, so basically, we're forcing those centrists, the moderate, the corporate Dems to move left, right? We're not spoiling. We're actually pushing conversation and testing boundaries and looking at those values that people that say that they want to represent us actually are carrying with them, right? And you know, and we are building a base of long-term committed organizers, activists, community leaders, so that win, lose, or draw, right? We're building and strengthening our movement, right? We win a lot, we also lose a lot. You know, and you have to admit both of them, right? And fourth, we try to change the rules that unfairly lock minor parties out, right? He who has the gold makes the rules. And so we have to have leadership at every level of government in order to change the rules. Okay, so I'm gonna take a moment to just chill out real quick. I'm so used to being interactive, but I think this can be sent out later. Can I drop this in a chat or something for folks if you are unfamiliar with who your elected official is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because they'll still be able to access the chat. And
Okay. Here you
does that mean
are.
Las Vegas? Or
In the
just
chat, I put the clean elections. Yeah, I think for all of us to get on the same page, and this is the first thing that I ask people when they get involved with the party is, who are you? Like, who's your person? Who is your person? Because showing up in solidarity with everybody is beautiful. It's amazing, right? But who are you trying to keep accountable to you? Because if you're showing up in community with other people to hold their elected accountable, then that leaves you and your elected over here still making all those wild decisions. So it's really important to know who your person is, who your people are, so you can hold them accountable as well, right?
Mhm.
It's also important to know. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we got LD3, 10, 21, 25, 15. I'm 5. I know that. So
I would hope you know.
yeah.
And you know, let's look at who we have in Arizona. So the WFP has been here quietly in Arizona since 2020. We have been building, because what we have realized as humans, myself included, I'm a skeptic, right? So it's like, you come in here with a third party and you're trying to sell us on all of these things. Here's the proof of concept right here, right? Over the last handful of years, we have been building this beautiful slate. Like I said, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, sometimes we're not able to hold our seats, but we have made this possible. And in the 2024 election cycle, we had some really inspiring wins. We flipped key seats, right? We strengthened our progressive representation, right? And we were able to amplify voices of working people across the state. And so that's what I say, like, we have to celebrate this stuff. So we have, where the orange circles are, that's where we have, I don't want to say a stronghold, but it's where we have 2 out of the 3 seats. And so, so we have really nice representation. We have the speakers on both sides, leadership. We have, and they're all Working Families Party champions. They know that they represent the Working Families Party. They know that they are working class individuals showing up to represent working class people. And they're also making those big waves, right? We are the elected officials that are making those waves, that are pushing the boundaries and the limits, right? Annalise Ortiz is fighting for her actual life out here. And she is leading and doing amazing work.
Yeah.
Like, and she is a Working Families Party champion, and she knows that, right? And so we're going to, and this isn't even updated as of yet, right? We just won a congressional race. Adelita, no, Congresswoman Grijalva knows that she is a Working Families Party champion. So yeah, we haven't even updated this yet. We have two new Tucson City Council electeds that haven't been added to this, right? And we've been building and building and working and moving policy and moving legislation and holding these people accountable. I don't know, were you one of our electeds when you were in office?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. I think Ian actually shared a screenshot, like saying, "Oh, look, there you are." And I was like,
Yeah.
I did all the endorsements, so I can't remember.
Yeah. So, I mean, and we, the longer that we're here, the more we learn, right? And so, like, we've been able to, like, just dig in deeper and do that deep community recruitment. And yeah, we have been doing major work and moving major laws. And so, taking into account all what we've accomplished, right, we need to keep building that power for the years ahead. We see what's happening. It's being set up. We're being set up. Look, I like to, as an organizer doing work that I do for as long as I have to be able to see all sides, right? And so I will quickly play devil's advocate. We are being set up for failure right now. The country has been bought and sold. It's done and over. Right now, we're being led as if we are a corporation in a right to work state, period. Trump has identified, and that's what he's doing. He's treating us as it is a right to work state and just firing people and deporting people and blah, 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 blah. I don't like your perfume and your hair is ugly. You know what I mean? And so we have to build that resistance, and we have to do it through politics. We have to, because that's how he is running us like a corporation in a right to work state. And so there are many roles to fill, and every single one matters. And one of these important roles is honestly having conversations like this, canvassing, door knocking, going to your neighbors, having those weird, uncomfortable conversations in the backyard where you realize your neighbor is a Trump supporter, and you're having that conversation, right? I think that looking at this list, we know that it is possible. Looking at this list, we know that you all are represented by our WFP champions. We also see here that the material conditions of your life, you might not know are changing, but they are changing, and they're changing from a working class lens. I just want to show this map so folks can really get a grasp of what we have been building here. This is as of 2024, right? Since then, we have turned a couple of those yellows, states with organizing committees, into strong oranges. Ian, you're in the yellow up there. Oh no, you're in orange now. Nice. But the oranges are where we are solid, where we have elected officials in office and or ballot lines. You might be familiar with our work in New York. We are crushing it right now in New York. And we are setting records and moving conversations in New York right now. And that is what we are planning on doing here as well. You can actually stop. No, I'm screen sharing. I can stop screen sharing.
All right. Are you looking for questions? Are you looking for questions, or you want to do some polling?
No, I'm really done. If there's questions, comments, concerns, affirmations, pushbacks, I am there for it. I am here for it. I just wanted to give just like a little snapshot of the party and of what it is that we do and how we've been building, and how as a third party, we're not a spoiler because we've cracked it.
Okay, so let's see. I had some questions. Let me see if I can try to remember. I should have written it down. Darn it, it's going to really bother me too. It was something about, because there's I've gone to this. Oh, here we go. Good. It'll come back to me. Okay, so Bonnie is asking, does Keep Arizona Blue have an opinion?
An opinion about what?
I guess
No,
about the Working Families Party?
I don't know. Maybe I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have no idea. Because here's the thing: we're not trying to make, you know, it blue no matter who. Yes, only if, right?
Right.
So the blue, I mean, I guess I haven't spoken with anybody from there. I don't know. We're just doing what we're doing, right? We're not in competition with the Dems. We're not in competition with anybody. We quite honestly are just moving the way that we're moving within the system that we have been given.
Okay, she's clarifying here because I think maybe did she say young people need to buy in? Like I is because I think is Keep Arizona, are they a young person organization? I don't know. Maybe that's what she's asking is if you find that
Uh,
it's an appealing message to young people.
oh, heck yeah. Sorry, I swear a lot. So
Oh, you're all right. No, you can totally swear. Don't
um
worry about it. Yeah, we
I'm
don't
like
have.
my
Yeah.
personality, yeah, no, we culturally organize. So the way that the party actually moves is it is like a political party, yes, but we also are community organizers. So we still hold on to that. So we do cult see, I told you I'm nosy, I'm in the chat.
That's
Um
okay.
we do cultural organizing. So the youth, like we are a party for, the younger generation. Function to Charlie Kirk. See, here I am. I'm in the chat. Let's see. There's a lot of questions coming in fast.
Okay,
Julie,
and yeah, Julie says, are there drug policy priorities that you are working on right now? Great question, Julie.
we love drugs. Um, so, I mean, I come from harm reduction. You read my bio, Julie. You know
Hmm.
me. You know that, like, what we're doing. So the Working Families Party, as a as a whole, we don't actually do policy or legislation. That's why we recruit and pick up people to do that work for us. Um, so yes, by way of those elected officials that are representing WFP. Uh, repro- uh, Reproductive rights fit very snugly into WFP's priorities. Like I said, we don't work specifically on legislation or policies. You'll never see us lobbying because we're not lobbyists. Like I said, he who has the power makes the rules. And if we have direct line to power, we don't have to lobby. We can just say, hey, what we're hearing on the streets are, because we
Hmm.
still do community organizing. We're still in the canals. We're still in all of the tabling events. We're still doing all of that. Um,
That's what I was going to ask you because you had a slide with like the three different way pathways of organizing, I guess, and it was like the people, the party, and then affiliate organizations. So maybe tell us a little bit about some of the affiliate organizations that you often share a seat at the table with.
that's a very wide, it's a wide range of people. For we try to Of course, we have like the national organizations, the Planned Parenthoods, um, the UFCWs. We have all of those big national organization partnerships. We have the locals here partnerships, right? But then the one space that tends to get left out that we actually are very, very firmly rooted in is the grassroots organizing communities, right? Everybody, when we think about how elections happen every 4 years, most people tap in every 4 years, right? The Dems knock on your door every 4 years. We knock on your door every year, all year, right? That's how we are able to build the space and to get people from our communities trained and ready to run and lead in office, right? Um, so that granted, we are talking to working class people and we are getting working class people into office. And just so everyone here knows, legislators make $24,000 a year. And as a working, we have right now on our slate, we have a single mom that is one of our elected leaders, right? That's a hard $22,000 to swallow
Yeah.
every year when you have a kid, right? And so what we do as the party is we actually look holistically as well. Like my daughter, she'll babysit for there's a senator that she, you know what I mean? So like there are things that the party does above and beyond to make sure that the people that we're putting into office are still able to meet their obligations as community members themselves.
Okay, so let's say I'm thinking about comparing this to like the Democratic Party and how as a PC, right, an elected or an appointed precinct committee person, you then get access to your precinct, all of the registered Democrats in your precinct, right? Like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been a PC before, but that's
Yeah, no,
so that way that
I
and the point of that, right? The point of having PCs in either party is so that you can, first of all, it's like the most like down to the bare bones, like elected position that you can have. You get buy-in with the party, you get to vote with the party and stuff like that. And then you get access to your neighbors, and you're supposed to canvass your neighborhood regularly as a PC in the Democratic Party. But not every PC does that, right? And in
oh,
many cases, precincts don't even have a precinct committee person that's supposed to be organizing. I know there's a really long way to get to this question, but I also know that probably there's a lot of people here who understand that protocol in the Democratic Party. So my question to you is, in the Working Families Party, let's say Bonnie, and I'm just going to use her as an example because Bonnie is everywhere all the time. She calls herself like Grandma something on Twitter, but for a grandma that walks with a cane, she's everywhere. So let's say that Bonnie wants to just organize her folks up in North Phoenix. How should she get started?
oh, that's a great question. And I love that. And Bonnie, if you're trying to organize people in North Phoenix, this is what you're going to do. You're actually going to, and I can put all of this into the chat, but it's not like a step one, step two, step three per se. It is we have at the beginning of every single month an opportunity to have like that WFP 101, right? Where you get a little deeper. And I gave you all a brief version of it right here. But in that session, we tend to have more time, like questions, discussion, um, you know, it, and then we invite folks to come to, and I'm going to put this sign up in there for sure, how to talk about the party, right? So if you're organizing your neighbors, if you're doing that work, then you need to be able to talk to them about what it is that we are offering as the Working Families Party, right? So we have that session where you can come and learn how to have those hard conversations, where you can come and practice those hard conversations. Like, you're talking to a Democrat that's a diehard blue, no matter who. And it's like, how do you have that yes and? How do you
Mm-hmm.
reassure your neighbor that you're not splitting a vote? How do you reassure your neighbor that there is something better? We just haven't figured out how to like get people to buy into the idea of a third party. I think that's what it is. Like you mentioned, like the Nader, all of that stuff. I think the buy-in, what people see is, the Jill Steins showing up, running for president, and then just disappearing. Like,
Right. I never even heard of her until I don't remember if it was Bernie, if it was
yep,
2020, if it was 2024. I'm like, who is this woman? She had some weird song that she sang. I don't know. Like, and then poof, she's gone. That's it.
gone. Yeah. And I think that's what folks think of when they hear third party option, right? And it's no, we're here all year round. We organize all year round. Even and when there's no elections, we are recruiting. We're doing trainings, we're doing political ed, we're doing, because we cannot let our guard down. Like we can't afford to. People are losing their lives, so we have to keep our heads on a swivel. We're out here every single day talking to people, knocking on doors, actually finding out what is needed, right? Everybody, we just did this big thing in congressional district, where Juan Ciscomani is just really flailing around, man. And we've been following him for the last 6 months, watching him, making sure. And now that he has shown himself and proven his cards, we are outside of his office. We are everywhere, all of the time.
I love that. So one thing I remembered what I wanted to ask you, and I just put the most basic Arizona Working Families Party like their basic website there, and but I'm sure that if we want other more specific links, we can get those. But it looks like it's all pretty easy to find too, where the events are. And I've attended a few now. But the question I have, so for example, let me give an example that I feel like everybody in Arizona is very familiar with, and that would be because also I think more people unfortunately follow their congressional races than they do their LD races. But so let's take CD1, right? Schweikert's district. We've been chipping away at that district now for a couple of a few cycles now. Since 2018, we've had some really amazing candidates, I want to say. But anyway, he okay, so we've got a very crowded race there. I don't know if there's any working family parties, endorsed candidates there, but it doesn't feel like. How do you decide where you go? I guess is my question.
Oh, you want to know something really cool about that? We partially decide, but you all decide where we go, right? So the way we have a national strategy, we have a statewide strategy. We know what seats we need to hold. We know what seats we need to flip, right? We come in with that. Then myself and our other organizer, Nico, it is our job to go one step further, right? And then when I have everybody and you've been to our gatherings, when we have you all look up your LDs and look up your people and put it into the chat, it's very intentional. The reason why we're doing that is because we want to know where we are, where we need to be, and where we could be, right? And so, for example, if you have somebody that is politically active, values aligned, and might just need a little nudge, that's where we need to be. That's the person that I need to talk to, right?
So yeah. Okay, another question. Okay, so let's just say up in, oh gosh, what I mean, I think it's always got to be LD1, right? Because it's Prescott.
Yeah.
Right? So that's oh wait, no, I'm yeah, is that the one with both? Yeah, that's Wendy Rogers, David Marshall, and
oh yeah. I don't know that we'll ever be able to.
But my point, okay, my question is, let's say though that you've got somebody up there who's like, hell yeah, I'm all in, Working Families Party, I'm gonna go for this endorsement. I don't have a snowball's chance in hell, but you guys will still help them get along. Oh, it's LD7, sorry, LD7. It's Payson, not Prescott, yeah. And wherever Wendy Rogers lives at the moment.
So the viability question is what I'm hearing you ask. If not a snowball's chance in hell that you can win this, but you still want to just give it the good college try, well, it's still a way that we can push the narrative, right? Example, I live in City Council District 4, right? That seat is up. There was a moment in time, well, just recently, thinking about who is going to run for that seat, how many people that's going to be a crowded race. That is Phoenix, that is the middle, that is historical neighborhoods, that is low income West Valley, right? Who do you want to have represent that space, right? When you're thinking about the entire district, right? Most people for LD7, they're only actually casting votes for a very specific demographic. And it's not tattooed, single mom, queer, and Black, right? And so when we're recruiting candidates, when we're talking to community members, when we're having these gatherings, we're actually looking for the other group of people that aren't being represented, because we need for us to be in that seat instead. Does that?
Yeah, no. Okay, next question, because this is where, and I can't believe I don't actually know this one. Because some of them, I'll be honest, I'm planting some questions here. But but my question is school boards. Do you also do school board endorsements? Are you that far yet?
We actually started doing school boards. That's where we started. Because we have such a small staff and our capacity, and because we're so hands-on when we do our candidate work, that's the other thing. I am I am in it all. I am in all of the chats. I am with you. I will, because you need that, right? You need that. We've done school board races and we've won a handful of them, but it's just there's so many. And
Yeah.
so we have to be very strategic about where we're doing it and what we there's rural towns that don't have school board members, but there's school, you know what I mean? So like there's easy pickup seats there. But really we are just focusing where we have the most like the critical mass, I guess you could say. Yeah,
That's
school
fair.
boards are
Yeah.
not out of question. We've started there. We got 2 write-ins. I remember the first year. Shelly Jackson and yeah. So they wrote them, the 2 of them wrote themselves in, and yeah, we won last
I
minute.
remember I remember that because that was
It was
2020, I think.
Alexis Aguiar and yeah, and that was a hard race because when you are a write-in candidate, the spelling has to be on point.
And Nagire is not an easy name to spell. You're absolutely right. No, that was
Yeah.
really cool. And I think maybe Shelly even spells it just like with an extra E, Shelley. So it's a whole
Yep.
thing, right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, that's, you asked about school boards. That's where we are with school boarding.
Okay, so we have about 13 minutes left. So we put in how to talk about the Working Families Party training. You can also join the Slack channel, folks. So that's a good way to get involved. Is there a best first place to start? Is that the one that you posted?
The best first place to start is actually the AZ welcome gathering. So it's the very first link. So you have the welcome gathering, then you have the how to talk about.
Okay, I see.
And
Yeah. All right. I'm going to put that in there too then. So this one that I just posted. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. That's a nationwide welcome gathering.
That's perfect too. If you want to
That's okay.
go. So the nationwide welcome gathering is big overview. The state welcome gatherings are state view. And I do want to, you did mention this earlier, and I want to say something about it. We have a whole federal team, right? We have a whole team that does federal electoral work. That is not us. Here in Arizona, the Arizona staff, yes, we do federal work, but our primary focus is state down, right? You mentioned, most people don't follow that kind of stuff. And it's actually, in my opinion, the fastest hitting, the quickest moving, and the most important.
Well, and honestly too, like, look what happens when, people really don't pay attention to what's happening at the state level. And then, you have legislatures that can gerrymander, they can change protocols and policies, they can determine who sit on meetings or who chair committees. I mean, like it's a huge source of power. And now also there's this push, right, to have another constitutional convention, right? They always they ever, which is just insane. I mean, well, I'm not going to pontificate about what's going to happen these days because it's so unpredictable. There's just no
what we can predict, what we do know, and that we have seen historically, is that the working class will find a way to fight back. It's going to be painful. It's going to be a slow burn, but we will succeed, right? It's going to take everybody. And when I say everybody, we recognize that at some point, people on the right, people in the middle are actually going to start coming over to our side, right? You can see it happening. I thought he was my homeboy. I thought Trump cared about me. Joke's on you, right? You triple trumped, double trumped, whatever you want to call it. Joke's on you. And so we see these people coming over, and it's on us to receive, educate, and like kind of reset.
Well, and when you do talk to people about issues and you're able to keep it on the issues, not the person or their personality or,
Hmm.
where they went to college or I don't give a whatever, like just let's focus on the issues, okay, what is your problem then with student loan forgiveness? Explain that to me. Whatever, like that's what we need more of is to do that kind of stuff instead of relying on, parties. And I'll
It's
tell you what, even when oh, go ahead.
answer. The simplest answer is always the correct answer. And so the way that the WFP, the way that we organize, the way that we choose and work with our candidates is quite honestly the simplest answer, right? So we can look at Senator Hernandez, or former Senator Anna Hernandez. Family was brutalized by the Phoenix Police Department, right? She said, I need to know who makes the laws because, my family has been struggling with the city, with the state. There's no, Anna saw a problem and said, okay, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write a solution out to this problem that I know is a real problem because I have experienced it. And there are other families that are also experiencing it. So I'm going to run for office and I'm going to make the law. Right. And so we rallied behind her. Right. She ran for office, she won. Freshman senator, right? She did all of the greatness there, and then she ran for city council. We rallied behind her then. She won with 53% of the vote. Like she's
She
just already in the office.
she won so handily. And for those that aren't familiar, there's a lot of money put into that race and a lot of heavy hitters in Arizona
Yep.
politics who really tried to sway the results of that race. And because Anna stuck to the message, like you can relate to
Yeah.
her, like
Yep.
yeah,
It's
powerful.
what they have at stake. So if you are a Working Families Party candidate, aligned human out in the streets, right? You have the same shit at stake that we all do, right? And so Anna was like, I got the same shit at stake that you do. And I'm actually, because we have people in our lives that are like, I want to run for office. And they're like, nah, I'm just kidding. Well, no, actually, like you can. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Although I would like to say that, for all of you who are thinking about running again in CD1 in 2028 or 6, please don't. Just don't. Like at least run for school board first, okay?
Damn.
I'm just saying because every single like I'm so tired of it being so crowded over there and it's all just to be kind of a different shade of beige. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
I mean, yes.
It's like
Uh,
it looks like it looks like the further you get in the suburbs, and it's like a sea of tile and like a different shade of beige with the houses. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
that. We
Oh
don't
no,
need
I know.
that.
I've been to Chandler before. I know what it looks like.
Julie Guttigal just said changing my name to Glassman and running in CD1.
Oh my goodness. Julie, if you want to run again, we got you.
There you go. Yeah. Wait to see how that answer goes. Okay. Well, unless there are any more questions, and I'm not seeing any, today Ian is he's out having a personal day, so he's not here, and it's
What?
funny because it's one
Ian?
of I know it's one of the spiciest chats we've had, and he's not even here. So
Ian is the best at chat monitoring. I'm gonna actually drop into the chat how you can get a hold of me, like to schedule one-on-one if you want to know more about the party or more about the work that we're doing or how if you are, and then I'm just gonna drop that in there. That's my calendar.
oh, that's awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Wait, did you
So
want that? Do you want that just for us or for everybody on the call?
no, for everybody, because
Okay.
I'm really, like, my
Here,
gig is
then switch the little blue button then. Oh, she already did it. Okay, cool.
okay, perfect. Thank
Lindsay
you.
already did it. Yeah. Okay, wait.
Oh,
What does this say?
I
Um, no, already on your candidate committee, hashtag Paris for everything. That's what Julie says. And then Diane says, can you believe no prosecutor will prosecute Glassman? What ethics attorneys have? Oh, and they are not political. So yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Julie Gunnigal's running for, just kidding. Just kidding.
oh damn, Julie.
I know. I wouldn't do her like that. Anyway, okay. Well, thank you so much. Honestly, you really helped us out. And I just know, I really hope, I love the fact that you are sharing your calendar with folks. It is, for me, it really fills my bucket, folks, to hang around with the Working Families Party folks, especially Paris. Nico is fantastic too, but it's not just seeing them, it's just the message, the momentum, the sense of possibility, and like even maybe a little bit of stability in really uncertain times. You know what I mean? So and again, we are a nonpartisan organization. We are just on the side of common good, and that is something that I believe personally that the Working Families Party promotes, is the common good.
Yeah. It, I'm going to drop in here. If you all want, text AZ to 30403. And that's how we can directly connect. AZ to 30403.
Perfect. Excellent.
Oh, a friend request. That's even deeper. Okay.
Oh, and also thanks for the reminder, Lindsay. Andrew Seidel is going to be here next week. So that's pretty amazing. If you don't know who Andrew Seidel is, he's a constitutional attorney and a prominent atheist. I can't remember who he's with right now, but I'm sure that Lindsay is going to share it. And then next Friday, you're not going to want to miss that, because this is we just got a kind of a thinly veiled threat in an email demanding that we no longer go through the conversation with the Turning Point USA targeted professor. So we are going to go through with it. So if you hate fascism too, please join us, not only next week, but the following week. And for now, let's end it, Paris, because everything's terrible right now, but you definitely give me hope. So I would like to know, in these tough times, what gives you hope?
Oh my goodness. What gives me hope is the fact that my son graduates high school this year, and my daughter is an amazing cheerleader, and she's so happy and she's so healthy, and my son is happy. And seeing them get partners and like honestly, that's what it is. That's what gives me hope, is the fact that I can see my kids planning for a future.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Like, I'm like, oh, you guys think that something else is going to happen on the other end of this. Cool, cool, cool. We're good. It's
Yeah.
when they stop planning and when they stop seeing a future and when they stop caring, that's when I get stressed out. Yes, Julie, the kids are not all right, but they're going to be all right.
Yeah. Right on. Well, thank you so much, Paris. Thanks for, switching your schedule around and helping us out in a pinch. I really appreciate you. And I think your
Anytime.
message is really important. So, and thanks to everybody else. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Take care,
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks for having
Bye.
me.
Thank you.